Well, the drama between Logan and Chilly. I guess let's talk about this. I originally said I was going to wait until I heard every side of the story, but after realizing that it seemed more and more like a bunch of back and forth he said she said stuff, I opted to just stick with not worrying about it. Besides, I should be focusing on only stuff that impacts the main channel, like the reasons for why I made the Lavelle video and the Chilly videos. So I told you guys about this decision I had made, even though I did make the decision a few weeks prior. And then the day after telling you guys this, it started impacting the main channel. Great. I guess there's no more delaying this, is there? Let's discuss the SML and Chilly drama, shall we? Now, since we don't know for certain some key stuff like who cheated on who, if that even happened, who did what to who, etc., I'm still not planning on making any sort of "this is definitely what happened" video. I'd still wait for the full story of what happened. Although at this rate, something tells me we're never going to get that, huh? So to begin this, there isn't going to be really anything that can be defined here as true or false, which is why I'll be using a 5-rank system. The rankings are as follows. Highly unlikely, something that probably isn't true but we can't know for certain. Unlikely, this might not be true, but again, we can't know for certain. Plausible. This could swing between being true or false, or is partially true and partially false. Likely. This might be true, but we're not sure. Highly likely. This is most likely true, but again, we can't know for absolute 100% certain. The reason I can't deem anything true or false here is mainly due to a lack of concrete, conclusive evidence. Heck, sometimes we don't have much evidence to begin with. And everyone on both sides seems to have this weird refusal to address a majority of the claims from the other side. So what you end up getting is people on one side or the other quickly becoming stuck in a giant echo chamber. So, yeah, that's why I can't give any definitive true or false answers to any of this. Now, with that out of the way, let's finally begin with these claims. At least the important ones. I'm not covering all of the claims here, though, since many of them began to border on the other side is actually the devil incarnate, and it was starting to get ridiculous. Also, even though I would think this is clear, please take everything you hear in this video with a grain of salt, especially since most of this is just my opinion on what's going on, as well as what I've heard. Most of this is in no way concrete, hence why I'm still not making this a video of, this is what this person did. Oh, look at them, they're so bad and mean. Well, I'm already cheating by starting with 2 claims wrapped into one. This was the big thing that started it all. Both sides claiming the other cheated on them. I think these are both plausible or likely. And perhaps if one of them cheated first, the other found out, and so decided to cheat because the relationship was dead at that point anyways, I could see both of them cheating as possible. Who did it first? Who knows? What I do know is that Chilly leaving Logan seems unlikely without some external issue, cheating more than likely being it. Or maybe not? We'll get back to that near the end. Supposedly, Logan cheated on Chilly with Elena at one point. Supposedly. We don't have any proof of it aside from Elena either saying it to mess with Chilly, or because it actually happened, or Chilly saying it because she was frustrated. Yeah, that's going to be a running trend here. No proof outside of, oh, well, it definitely happened alright. Who Chilly cheated with, if anyone, is unknown at this point. Perhaps Roy? That's a name that will come up more later, though. Okay guys, look, I get it. Logan isn't always the brightest, mainly when it comes to his channel. But Logan instead getting an how do I say this in a way that won't get me demonetized? Paid friend he just met seems unlikely to me. And then there's how he specifically wanted to get with this friend during a certain time of the month, as it were. That part just seems highly unlikely and rather gross, honestly. I don't buy this one, unless we're potentially talking about this person Logan's been with lately, but her profession isn't that. If she is what some people are claiming to be, though, it's certainly close, I'll admit. This one seems highly unlikely again. I mean, what person goes up to the brother of the person they cheated on and says, "Yo! Hey man, look, I cheated on your sister, who's also my fiance. Don't tell her though, lol!" Again, I get it, Logan doesn't always make the smartest decisions, but they're stretching Logan's poor decision-making way past the point of believability here. Let's try and get something more believable here. This could have happened, you know, maybe. Essentially, all we have is a video of Tito showing the plushes in their destroyed state.
Cut off all this stuff from my channel.
On the one hand, Logan could have easily gotten upset and destroyed Tito's plushes, since, well, why would Tito destroy his own plushes, especially when he knows the value of them? Though, at the same time, Tito could have done this to his own plushes to try and add credence to his own side because it seems so unlikely that Tito would do this to his own plushes. The problem is that Logan doesn't react with any sort of panic over Tito filming the destroyed plushes, instead just telling Tito that the police are there. Obviously, one of them did this. Who, though? I have no clue. For starters, this claim has to assume that Logan cheated on Chilly first. Logan has claimed that Tito was kicked out because he never contributed to anything. Despite this, Tito has claimed that he helped out a lot with videos, as well as driving actors to and from their homes, etc. Plus, if Tito really never contributed to anything, why would Logan just suddenly kick Tito out from nowhere? It could very well be this claim. Or it could have been something else involving the fallout from the relationship, which made Logan not want any of Chilly's family, including her, and including Tito, in the house anymore. Or perhaps Tito threw a fit about something involving this whole situation, and Logan decided to tell Tito to leave. However, Chilly did end up coming back before leaving presumably completely, so this whole theory isn't the plausible tier on several fronts. Now, this one comes from mainly Lavelle. We'll get to him in a bit. But essentially, this claims that Chilly had actually been bored of the relationship, especially when off camera, for months or years. And despite this coming from Lavelle, this does make some sense. Whether because Logan had cheated first, or Chilly simply wasn't invested in the relationship after a while, it wouldn't surprise me if this is true. Despite all that went on, there didn't seem to be much noticeable emotional drama from Chilly. Like, she had already checked out of the relationship a while back. Then again, this all could have very well been done offline instead. That's a fair argument. Although, ironically enough, Chilly's sister seemed more upset about all of this than Chilly even did. But again, that's from what we saw, so take all of this with a grain of salt, just like everything else in this video. Huh, who knows, maybe my old Chilly video was right after all. So here's the theory. Chilly, having been emotionally uninvested, especially if it had been for the past couple of years, decided to make the most of the situation, telling Logan that she either wanted things or would leave him if she didn't get a bunch of things. So in the process, she ended up getting Lamborghinis, a bunch of other expensive and high-ticket items, and basically all of the revenue from her channel. Then when she's finally really gotten bored, well, she leaves and moves on to this other person named Roy. Except, maybe not. We'll get to that in a minute. But back to this theory. This would be likely if it weren't for the fact that this also relies on Chilly having been bored and not very emotionally invested in a relationship for quite a while, which isn't confirmed. So as it stands, it's plausible. Alright, now speaking of Lavelle, he's been talking about a bunch of stuff involving this whole thing pretty much since it started. And the problem here is, well, it's Lavelle. I'm not saying that Lavelle is even lying necessarily, but he certainly does have a habit of exaggerating and even potentially over-embellishing what he says, or just flat out misunderstanding things. I mean, do you guys remember that time Lavelle thought Logan had fired him because Logan didn't respond for a day? And plus, none of the things he says ever really gets confirmed by anybody, so it's just more hearsay to add to the pile. So as it stands, I take everything Lavelle says as plausible. Nothing more, nothing less. This one hovers somewhere between plausible and likely for me. On the one hand, I want to give Logan the benefit of the doubt here and say that Logan wouldn't do something like date a
special kind of dancer,
let alone just to make Chilly jealous. But let's be honest here, Logan has done some admittedly rather petty things to people in the past. Plus, how convenient is it that Logan went on a vacation to Hawaii with this girl, somewhere Chilly had wanted to go for ages. And man, Logan, what a downgrade. You dropped from someone you met in high school and you were with pretty much consistently for about a decade, only to drop down to being with a
special kind of dancer,
so that you could get Chilly mad? Not confirming this is true, but for Logan, I somehow wouldn't be surprised if it was. But I mean, heck, we don't even know if this girl's a This is just, again, more hearsay. If she isn't, that throws a large chunk of this claim out. Although, to be fair, Logan might still be doing things and posting a lot to make Chilly jealous, even if this person is his actual girlfriend and not something else. Well, for once we have something that somewhat resembles a confirmation or deconfirmation, with Chilly just flat out saying that Roy isn't her boyfriend. The only problem is that a picture of someone who seemed to look like Chilly had supposedly been on Roy's account. I would have listed this as plausible had it not been for the fact that Chilly has actually said that it isn't true, so make of that what you will. In case it isn't obvious, I didn't cover everything here. I've only covered the major points. I am also reminding you that pretty much everything here needs to be taken with a grain of salt. I don't know how much of this is true, exaggerated, partially true, or just downright false. The only things I do know for certain at this point are that Logan and Chilly seem to not be together, they've moved on to different people, well, kinda, and so on. Now, why did I even make this video? Because this has started to leak into the main channel's videos. You see, in the video, The School Dance, there are tons of subtle and not so subtle nods to Chilly leaving Logan for Roy. You know, unless she didn't. In my opinion, Logan needs to keep this out of the main content. Because personally, unless this is affecting the main channel, Logan can do whatever he wants with this new girlfriend or whoever she is to him. But when Logan begins throwing in not so subtle nods to this whole thing,
now, it's my problem.
As for the rest of the claims, and heck, the claims I discussed in this video, I think that this clip sums things up best.
But some were not so convinced, which sparked heated battles which I will now simulate. Oh my god, it's real! It's not real. Oh, it's real! No. Yes! Pixar, it didn't happen. Fuck you, you're stupid! I hate you. This is how every conversation on the internet goes.
Personally, at this point, until one side or the other actually opts to actually acknowledge some of these things, all of this is just hearsay. Some of it more likely than other bits, but ultimately hearsay nonetheless. And now I'm done, and people can stop asking me to make a video covering this whole thing, because personally I don't think up until the point it was being included in the videos, that it was any of our business. And as for Logan and Chilly, well, it's a bit sad to see them apart.
Yes, I suppose that is rather sad.
I feel as if they might very well be happier with their new relationships. If they are in new relationships, that is. With that all being said, I'm a bit disappointed that all of this has happened and what may become of things from here on. But what's done is done, I suppose. Now, hopefully, all of this drama is over and people can stop asking me about it, okay? I swear I'm going to release this video and then some more drama or whatever will happen. Great. Well, thank y'all for watching and take care.
I forgot to tell you there's a part 2.
Part two? Part two, part two, part two, part two.
Please don't do that.